for joining me for this edition of the Teaching Ministry of New Eden. I am pleased to be sharing with you again today. Today I want to talk to you about three things. Three things that you can do to make the world a better place. I hope you'll listen, and I hope your mind's open and ready to hear some ideas that just might make all of your living experience a better experience for you and for all you share it with. I'm going to read to you from a couple of biblical texts, and then I'll be discussing some of what I believe is being said in those texts, and then I'm going to lay out those three steps that you can start to do immediately. And I guarantee they will make your world a better place, if for nobody else but you. All right. Join me for prayer for a moment. Dear God, thank you for the privilege to share with friends and loved ones one more time. Thank you for preparing me to share a word that I pray is to be beneficial to the few or the many who ever hear this message. I trust that you are accomplishing good things with it. I believe you will. Reach out now and touch all who need to be touched in special ways that they might experience health, happiness, peace, prosperity, love, and joy every day of their lives. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. All right, three things. Three things that you can do to make the world a better place. Now, what I want to start to do, first thing, I want to read to you from a few texts that will talk to you about something that, if you're a traditional churchgoer or if you're a traditional religionist, it's likely you've been taught to be very exclusive about who's in and who's not with God. I'm going to suggest to you today that you need to forget that. I'm not saying forget the people, because people have loved you all this time and given you the very best that they have to share, but I'm going to suggest to you that there is more to God than the notion of being exclusive and it's just for me and mine and nobody else. It's kind of like when we hear presidents and presidential candidates say, God bless America. When Chris Rock did the film, he was suggesting that always means God bless us and nobody else. Well, I'm certainly not going there today, and I want to influence you to consider that God is not as exclusive as churches, pastors, religionists, traditional religionists would have you think. Now, and here's the first thing they're going to always say to you if you share this with anybody. First thing they're going to go to you is with, but. Okay. People who need to bring buts to you quickly are really only going to try to get one up on you, to have some kind of superior perspective on what they believe being better or more than what you believe. And let's just listen to what is written in the Word of God in two texts. I'm going to begin reading in Ecclesiastes, and then I'm going to go to the Gospel of Matthew, and we'll dance around in the Scriptures for a bit. Let's just listen to what God has to say. And the people who are always going to be screaming and singing but are going to forever be there. You need to be able to have information to make up your mind for yourself. All right? All right, so I'm reading from Ecclesiastes, and we are in chapter 3 of Ecclesiastes. I'm reading to you from the Complete Jewish Bible, and the text says this, and the speaker, the writer of the text, is known by the title King Solomon, son of King David, the king of God on earth for the people, the Jewish Hebrew people, now the people of Israel. And so this brother has had everything that a human man's mind could want. He's had all the money that he wanted. He's had all the power that he wanted. He's had all the women that he wanted. And he's concluded, you know what? None of that meant anything. Well, let's listen in on what he had to write and say. And let's see if there's a message in it for us that will suggest to us that God is more than an exclusive few. All right. Verse 18 through verse 22. He says, concerning people, Solomon is saying, concerning people, I said to myself, God is testing them so that they will see that by themselves they are just animals. Now, one of the questions you might ask yourself, since many of us believe that God is the creator of the universe, does God think more of us than he thinks of all the other life forms in the universe? Humans have had the audacity to believe that we are supreme, and that's where notions of supremacy and colors and genders and all the other contexts, it's where people get the notion that they are better than other folks. Let's look and see what it's saying. It's saying, concerning people, I said to myself, God is testing them so that they will see that by themselves they are just animals. Some of our behavior would suggest that's just a total clear truth, that we're just animals. After all, the same things that happen to people happen to animals. The very same thing. Just as one dies, so does the other. Yes, their breath is the same, so that humans are no better than animals. This is out of your Bible. So I encourage you to read this. This is not Oscar Crawford just throwing some ideas at you. But it says that so you are no better than animals. Your breath is the same. But since nothing matters anyway, everybody's going to the same place. They all come from the dust. We all go back to the dust. Who knows if the spirit of the human goes up and the spirit of the animals go down? So, here you go. This is a king's conclusion. So I concluded that there is nothing better for a person to do, there is nothing better for a person to do than take joy in his or her activities, that is their allotted portion. For who can enable him to see what's going to happen next? Look, we have faith. We have faith. We believe that there's going to be life after life. The life continues. We have this notion, we have this belief. Since we've not been to the other side, we don't know. We have faith that God is taking us through one life experience to another. All right, so the king has said, and this brother is regarded to have been the wisest human that ever lived on planet Earth. He's concluded that all these things that we think are important, man, there's no value in them. There's nothing in them. The best you can expect to glean from them is the pleasant experience that you had while you were having it. Are you listening to me? All right. Okay, so that is what the king has had to say. Let's go over and hear what Jesus himself had to say. Don't take Oscar Crawford's word or any preacher. Read this book for yourself. So we're going to go and hear what Jesus had to say. Again, I'm reading from the Complete Jewish Bible. I will go on then to King James in a bit. But I want you to hear this. Jesus is giving what is regarded his first significant sermon, called a Sermon on the Mount. One gospel say on the mountain, another will say on the plain. But Jesus is making his first really big public appearance and providing a teaching. And so here's what Jesus is saying at the close of chapter 5 in the Gospel of Matthew. First book of the New Testament. Gospel of Matthew. All right. Jesus himself says, "You have heard that our fathers were told, love your neighbor and hate your enemy." We've all heard that. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Because when you do that, you'll become children of your Father who is in heaven. Now, please don't think that that's suggesting you need to let people smack you around and bully you up. That's not what's going on here. For God makes the sun to shine on good people and bad people. Think about this. I mean, you can see this with your own eyes. When it's sun shining, the sun didn't say, "Oh, I ain't going to be on that devil over there. I'm not going to be on her or him or their kids." They're just, no. Everything that's available here as a resource has been given to us all by the Creator. And so it doesn't just go to the good or the not so good. It goes to us all. All right, now, he says, "And God sends rain to the righteous and the unrighteous." Where we live, where my family and I live in Arizona, it rains so seldom that you can see it raining miles away and the sun still totally be out and above you, and you're seeing a rainstorm 5 miles away. It can be closer than that. But that's what happens. But this is not what we're saying. That just happens to be the conditions precipitating rain in that moment, in that space. But rain, like sun, hits us all. So everywhere that rain is hitting, it's not just hitting good people, it's not just hitting bad, it's hitting everybody that's in that set geography that the rain is falling. All right. So Jesus goes on to say, if God is doing that, if God is doing that like that, not being exclusive, if God is not being exclusive, do you hear the naysayer saying, let's just listen to what these brothers are having to say. Have all the buts you want to after this, all right? Jesus goes on to say, what reward do you get if you only love those who love you? Wow. Think about it. If all you do is love the people who love you, where's the profit in that? Where's the, they're so set aside and everything good? Where's the good in that? If you can love one person in a really good way and another person standing beside them have total disregard from them, something, I'm saying to you, something is wrong with that picture, and it is not what Jesus was teaching right here. All right. He goes on to say, what reward do you get if you only love those who love you? Because even the people who cheat with respect to money do that, right? And there are criminal organizations all over the planet that we know they have extreme love for their family. Mess with somebody in their family or a close friend, you die. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. But we're talking about those kind of people who live out those lifestyles. They're still in the good and the bad. They get all the same stuff that the rest of us get. They may take some more human power and take more than their share. But in terms of what God provides, God has provided everything to all of us. And if you're only loving people who love you, your love is not all that. Are you listening to me? If you only love people who love you, you are not all that. I'm saying that to you. If you only love people who love you, you're not all that. Look at what this is having to say. Matthew chapter 5, when verses 43 through 47, 48, right? And it's saying, God is saying through the mouth of Jesus, look, if all you do is love people who love you and are good to you, you don't have a lot to brag about. So he goes on to say, and if you are friendly only to your friends, are you doing anything out of the ordinary? Even the Goyim, the cheaters with money, they do that. Therefore, if you want to be perfect like your Father and love people equally. Oh, wow. So, Oscar, how does this establish a pretext? How does this establish a pretext for the context of doing three things that will make the world a better place, that each of us can do to make the world a better place? Well, I'm glad you asked me, because I got a word for you right now. So we're going to go to one more text. And I tell you, I believe this text has the answer for every human ill within it. If we can master these things, we will be doing well with ourselves, with the Creator, and with each other. All right. Everybody's not going to do things the same way you do. Everybody doesn't like barbecue chicken. Everybody doesn't like Chinese. But we all are here together. We're all one great community with just multitudinous expressions of who we are. We wear different clothes. I'm wearing clothes today of people who come from where some of my ancestors were born. I'm dressed up in West African clothes because it is one way I honor where I come from. Now, there are ways I honor other groups who've contributed to my being, but this is one way I get to honor all those who have come before me and contributed to my being. The Cherokee people, I have to do something else, right? And for the people who descend from Europe, who contributed to my bloodline, I have to do something else. So, I mean, all of these things contribute to our one being. We are, there's a button Bonnie and I used to give away as many as we could buy and give away as fast as we could. There's a picture that one astronaut took of Earth while on a mission in space, and it was captured with this one very simple statement: we are all one people. God saw that from the beginning. We're so slow to get it because we want to think Americans are better than everybody. Oh, and it's not Americans. Christians are better than everybody. So if you live somewhere else, if you have those two contexts, that you're Christian and American, nobody's equal to you, that is not what God is saying here. Now, let's go to the final text before I give you these three steps. This is the commandment that was given to the Hebrews, and because Jesus was a Hebrew in the line of Hebrews, Jewish people, he taught it to his followers, and so I'm sharing it with you as it's already been shared with me, and it's from there that we are going to get these three things that we can do to make the world a better place. All right, so here Jesus is talking again, because there's always somebody who I may have to do a message one day on the butt people, and it'll sound cute, but I won't be going in any sexual context, but the butt people, because all they can do is say but, right? And anything you say but behind means you negate everything you said before it. I try never to use the word but unless I'm teaching the implications of using the word but. I hope you hear me. All right, so we're in Matthew again, but now we're in chapter 22. And some of the but people, but Jesus, but man, no, you can't just be teaching, but. No, Jesus is having to say something very clearly that even the people who were challenging him knew, because they shared a bloodline and they shared the same revelation of the Creator to humanity. And so Jesus is only reminding people of this. And so I remind myself every day when I start to pray, this is what I pray. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment, and the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So when Bonnie and I initiated a 9-minute prayer project some years ago, one of the things that we were doing is we were sequentially going through the things that we ought to be praying for. So we honored God. We honored ourselves. We honored our families and communities. We honored others. We honored creation, the earth itself, and all of the universe, and concluded with honoring God again. If we can manage these things out of God's respect for us, we surely ought to share that by sharing our respect for other people. You don't have to do everything the same way I do it to be who you are. Be yourself. Be yourself. Now listen, here we go. The text, I'm going to read it to you because I already quoted it because I want you to know it's in the text yourself. It says this. Jesus said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all your soul, and all your mind. This is the first and great commandment. This is a directive, believe, manifest from the mind of God to the mind of human beings. That is the priority of relationship, that we didn't give ourselves life, so we want to honor the one, the source that life came from, that we are the beneficiaries of. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there who just complain every day, and you get tired of it like I get tired of it. I do have some friends that if they weren't complaining, they wouldn't know how to say hello, and so occasionally I have to say to them, I don't love you enough to listen to that today. If you need to just complain and whine about how bad it is and how bad it is and how bad it is, Oscar Crawford is not the person for you to do that with today. You need to find somebody else who enjoys that, who literally is sick as you. You can do better. You can make some other choices about experiencing who you are and what's going on in life. It ain't all that bad. You have just told yourself the lie that it's bad, so it's always bad. And that's the reason you always wonder, why don't anybody like you? Well, nobody wants to hang out with somebody that's always just screaming Bloody Mary bad news. All right, so the second thing, the second like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets and the promise. So, okay, three things. What are these three things, Oscar, we can do to make the world a better place? One, as a human being, as an intelligent human being, and I know the jury may be out on that for many of us, but as an intelligent human being, you can make the choice to honor the source from which all life has come. You didn't give yourself life. Is that why so many of us are self-destructive with our behavior? We don't honor the source that life came from, so we don't honor ourselves. We don't honor anything and anybody else. Listen to me. When we begin to honor the source from which life has come, we appreciate not just being alive, but the lives of everybody else and all other things, the earth herself. We are really thankful to be part of a system that includes the opportunity and privilege for us to have individual, unique expression. And it can't be its best until we all become the best that we have to offer, that the creator source, the original, call that what you want. We call it God, has the name Jehovah and other names in the Old Testament. We believe God created all that there is, and so we want to honor God for what God already did. One thing that you can do to make the world a better place, honor life and the giver and the creator of life. Do that intentionally on purpose every day. Honor God, honor life. Wow. Sounds so simple. God who lets it rain and lets the sun shine on the good and the not so good. You know, the black and the white, right? The yellow and the red. All of us, we are all one people up in here on planet Earth. All right. Now, number two, if you would make the world a better place, you would take care of yourself so well that you give off the radiant energy that you appreciate your life and all that you're experiencing in your life, because you're touching a few people are touching you, and you just glow because there's a love energy alive on your being. Are you listening to me? Man, when people don't ever want to be bothered with you, I encourage you to ask yourself the question, why? What are you giving to other people? Number one, honor the Creator. Second, honor yourself. You want to make the world a better place? Become a better you. Woo! If you want to make the world a better place, become a better you. Does that just make sense? Right. You become loving and productive, and you generate resources out of all the resources that are abundantly available to all of us. And you're able to share with some who may not have discovered as much as you have discovered. And so you have the opportunity to embrace others in relationship by sharing not just the good, but with the not so good, with the seeing and with the not seeing. You have the opportunity to love in a comprehensive context out of your love for the Creator and for yourself. Wow. Step one, honor God, the Creator of all of life. And because you are the first level expression, experience of that created life, honor yourself. I hope that's making sense to you. God, self, and then we don't stop there. We reach beyond ourselves to share our awareness. We reach beyond ourselves to share our awareness of being grateful and thankful to the Creator for all the Creator has done, and that we get to experience and have the privilege to experience and share. We now intentionally want to share that with others. Listen, we've been designed We have been designed so perfectly it messes me up. We are programmed from the moment we become a clock in our mama. We are programmed to connect with other people because there is sensation. Not sensation, but you're covered in it too. But the sensation of experience through touch. We reach and touch and doggone, it feels good. Feels better in some places than others, but that's how we've been made. And so we're fascinated with how we've been made. And so when we begin to come online in our mind and in our development, we're ready to connect beyond ourselves. Oh my goodness, it can really just blow our minds how much we begin to experience. We want to share and reach out and touch other folks. And we've trained ourselves that you need to limit that to the one person that you find the most fascinating, that you can live connected to for a lifetime. We don't do that so well, but we are always trying to connect. If you look online now at any of the social networking sites, people are trying to get together from 18 to 100. People live to be connected. And since you know that, if you didn't know it before, you know now. Since you now know that, you can intentionally start connecting with other folks, whether they're just like you, believe like you, look like you, or not. You would be surprised at how many people are ready to be friendly and friends with you the moment they realize that you don't just not like them because they're different. So 3 things that you can do to make the world a better place right now. Honor God. Give God some love. Give God some props. Give God some credit for the awesomeness of this creation that we live to experience. We live here. We didn't design ourselves. We woke up here conscious of ourselves, and we've been trying to learn in such a way as we don't hurt anybody, and we get to have all these feel-good experiences. We share with people. We can share with people from the touch of a keyboard stroke all across planet Earth. I thank God for that. 3 steps you can do to make the world a better place. Love God, love yourself, and love others. When we do this, however you do it, I'm not saying box this in some religion that just suits me. However you do this, that makes our world a better place. Thank you for joining me one more time. I appreciate the privilege to get to share, and I can't help but do what I do. I'm not looking for something else to do. I believe I am made to do what I do. And listen, I'm not going to be out trying to fix your car because I'm not a mechanic. I'm not going to be trying to advise you on money matters. That is not my gift. I do believe that invested in me is the information on how to help people learn to love and to derive the benefit from lived out love that all of us want, but we may not be able to articulate. I hope you were listening to me today. I thank God for you and the opportunity to share with you. And Lord, continue to give me breath in my body, intellect in my mind. I will see you here again 1 week from today with another message. Look for me on Facebook and Twitter. I'll be posting to you what we'll be talking about next week. It'll be posted as early as Friday, and maybe sooner if I know what that's going to be. We live in a pretty fluid time. Things can change in a hurry, and I always want to be available to sharing what I believe is given to me to share. So I'm going to put an email address here for you that you can be able to be in touch with me. We can talk. I would love to share ideas with you. Some of you are already doing that with me on a regular basis. And believe me, you are helping me to become a better me. I thank God for you, and I thank God for that you are sharing with me. I appreciate the privilege to love you. Until next time, I'm Oscar Crawford. Thank you for joining me for this edition of the Teaching Ministry from New Eden.